Hello, guys. Welcome to Unpack Your Bag Podcast. I'm your host, Tony Perks, and we have my co-host, Chantel.
What's up, folks?
Yeah, you know, I'm trying. Every time I say this, I wanted to give you like an additional name because it's like Tony Perks, and then I'm always like Chantel. So,
and then it's like a letdown, and it's like
because I'm saying it like
Chantel.
It's like Sean. So we got to get
maybe
something.
Maybe it's the way you say it. You should be like, and my co-host, Chantel.
I know, but I'm used to having two words.
Right, and then I'll come up with my own next podcast. I'll come with my own background noise.
Okay,
my own applause,
and the crowd goes wow. And it's like our breath is just screaming into.
It's all right. We're more than 6 feet apart. No breath.
Yeah. So actually, Corona, we're good like social distance. Don't worry.
No breath was smelt in the breathing.
I hope not. I mean, so you're good. You're good. I don't know. Yeah.
I will let you know.
Thank you.
Don't trip. I'll tell you.
Thank you very much. Because something I'm actually very self-conscious about all the time. I'm super like, so.
Yeah, I got lifesavers everywhere. Like, I know it's kind of weird.
The one that comes in the circle one?
Yeah, the little circle ones. I love those.
Oh, yeah, same. Mm-hmm.
I have those everywhere. So, like, in my car, my desk at work.
Do you eat gum? Do you chew gum? Like,
I do. Not really. It's not my favorite thing. I prefer mint.
Really?
Yeah, I prefer mint.
Oh, I'm a gum chewer, so yeah, it's better. It just lasts longer. I don't know. Anyways. All right, let's get right into this podcast because a couple things I want to talk about is a little bit of a relationship.
Okay,
we're going to discuss that, you know. And actually, let's just do it right now because there is a topic, one of my friends, they made a post about this topic about relationships between men and women. And I'm going to go to the post because I'm going to read it verbatim. Okay. And I'll read most of it, not all of it. Okay. But it made me laugh because...
Is your friend who posted this an avid listener of the podcast?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm not gonna. So I just don't want it to be stupid because if you read it and I'm like, I think that's stupid. Like I'm gonna say it.
That's okay.
To the person who posted it, like no disrespect.
No. It was definitely okay. I'll read it. Okay. So it's from a woman. I mean, it's a screenshot of somebody writing this. Okay. And it says, "Start putting pressure on these dudes," which I'll put the picture on here as well. Mm-hmm. Start putting pressure on these dudes. He want to play games, you play games. He don't call, you don't call. He's single, you're single. He want to have boo things, you have boo things. He's stingy.
What the fuck?
Okay, all right. And so it goes on a list of like, he want to keep lying, you start lying. He decides to be faithful, then you be faithful. And be whatever the man is with this, sister. According, stop writing long ass paragraphs and tell that clown bet or something like that. Okay? So, and she's like, it writes, you give what you get. And I wrote back and I was like, when is one of you guys going to grow up, you know?
That's, yeah,
so,
okay.
That was my response to that.
The post, okay, so that's stupid.
Okay.
Please don't do that, y'all.
And I'm not saying that's what she did, but it's more like two people play the same side of like, well, I don't want to be too vulnerable because you're not, you know? And so I see that in relationships happening. Like, even for me, when I first started dating and getting serious, like, it was like, if she would call, then I would wait. If it like we were texting, for example, if it was like 15, 20 minutes, if I text her and then she would respond 15, 20 minutes, then I'd probably wait 5, 10, maybe 15. Because, like, you don't want to come off boom, 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 like, hitting way more, and they're just kind of gapping it. So, like, these things are real. Like,
they are real. They are real.
Facts. The text is real. Mm-hmm. But what I don't agree with is that it's just showing to me that, like, you are giving somebody else your power to choose how you decide to react and respond to the situation regardless. So you're giving them control, like, well, if you're going to do it, then I'm going to do it. Yeah. Right?
But then what this sounds like to me is two hurt people trying to be together. Like, that's what this sounds like. Sure. Two hurt, wounded, triggered children, right? Like, immature adults trying to make a relationship work. Like, at a certain point, when do we address like what it is that we want? You understand what I'm saying? And then actually go after it. The issue with that is, right? Unpack Your Bag Podcast. The issue with that is that niggas been hurt. They got, you know, wounds that haven't been healed. And because of that, they carry themselves a certain way and they carry themselves a certain way into relationships. They don't want people to see them a certain kind of way, right? All of that is based on the trauma. And instead of dealing with that, right? Taking a minute, like, damn, why is it that I act like this? Damn, why is it that when this happens, I always feel this way? Damn, why is it that if he does this, I feel like I have to do this? Damn, why is it I feel like I have to stay with a nigga that treats me badly? You know what I mean? Same to sister, you know, men too. Damn, why do I feel like I gotta stay with a sister who, you know what I'm saying, who treats me badly? For sure. Let's talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the bigger issue. Like, why would you, if he cheating, you cheat, Or I could be like,
I can leave and just indefinitely. Like, that's
or you know? One of us could be like, this is not for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I gotta go. Right. Or and not even to say like cheating is like a huge deal breaker, but like
it's a pretty big deal breaker.
Well, for some people it's not.
Okay. Yeah.
For some people it's not.
For sure.
And I think different circumstances, dictate what's a big deal and what's not.
Okay.
But let's talk about that. Why is it that people in this society are so uncomfortable with being alone, right? Because like as a single person,
that is actually the key right there. So
look, I'm single, and as a single person,
okay,
I would say at the top of every single person's list,
okay,
is to be with somebody else. That's at the top of their list. Definitely top like 3, right?
Yeah.
I'm similar in that, although I would say it's like top 10 for me because it's a whole lot of things that I want to do first.
But it's up there in importance.
But it's up there and it's important, right?
Okay. But not at the extent of going into something like that.
Not at the extent of, if it ain't right, I don't want it. And I mean that in my soul. If that means
bye, then bye.
I'm cool.
Which I get that.
I
get that. But I think there's a time where you have to know that you're hurt. And that's why you're responding this way. And I think a lot of times in the situation that we're seeing, like even in that text, it's like, I don't even think they realize that, one, they're in a reactive state, but two, they're also coming from a hurt place,
Boom.
And like, I get what you're saying, like only give to a certain degree what you're going to get out. Like, that's pretty much what the whole thing is saying, is like, don't be giving all this extra for someone who's just giving you less then, right?
Yeah.
But also it's like, you're basing it depending on how they react or respond. It's like you change up who you are based on them,
yes,
and not who you are,
not who you're designed to be.
Yeah, so that's why I see the problem of that. And two, it's like also like who's gonna grow up first and either speak about the elephant in the room or cut it.
That elephant in the room is huge.
Because the elephant in the room, and when they're saying is like, well, he's stingy, you're stingy, or he cheats, or it's like, why don't you address the fact that he's cheating, then decide to cheat and do your thing yourself.
Boom.
That could be.
Yes.
So I can see it, and I see why people do it, but I think it's like people got to realize they're hurt.
Let me ask you this though: do you think that the way that people approach relationships is similar to the way that they approach their life as a whole? So what I mean by that is like, let me give you that same energy. Like, how many people are walking around being not true to themselves, right? Being shells of themselves, right? A dumbed down version, or an over enhanced version, right?
Okay.
Of themselves and everything that they do, right? And then that also portrays what you do in relationships, because that's just who you are, right? So like here's what I mean by that. Like, how many people are walking around overcompensating for who they are? You know what I mean? At their job, period.
Right, for sure.
And then how many people are walking around shells of themselves, right? In everything they do. And then they take those same demeanors into a relationship, and that's just not gonna work.
Yeah.
You're a shell of yourself. Why have you dumbed yourself down? Address that, right?
Yeah.
Before you try to
but
get
then
with somebody
there's times
else.
that people will probably feel that way, but then they don't feel like they're enough to be able to address that, or even think like someone will take that.
Why you don't feel like you're enough?
So that's probably a key right there. Like,
like,
so why don't you feel like you're enough?
What's the issue?
Because
like, let's
I just
get
don't think
down
that
to
nobody
it.
cares about what I say or how I feel, or I don't, I did this one time and spoke my mind, and then this happened, or I never was loved this way, so now I don't there's a lot of different factors, which I'm not making excuses for it, but I am trying to address the truth of it's easier said than done. And
then how often do we deflect that on to somebody else?
Yeah, or if somebody even calls out, do you get mad at the person and say they're the problem? That could be one too, because maybe you heard it, but then it's like the defenses come up immediately, and then it's like, well, you're wrong because this isn't that, even though you heard the truth,
right?
And now you're not willing to accept it because it hurts.
Another factor to consider, like, is you really trying to make this dude be your man? Like y'all committed? You know what I'm saying? You really trying to make the thing work? Or is you just dating somebody, right? Or if it's just fun and dating? Because if it's just fun and dating, then do that. You know what I'm saying? And don't make the shit deep. Sometimes women do stuff like that where it's like, oh, we're just dating, and they know specifically that they personally themselves don't want to be in a relationship, right? But they do relational type things, and they expect the nigga to do the same thing.
Right,
you just said.
Right, no, I agree.
So you bring in non-relational vibes to the nigga, and then when the nigga does non-relational things, you get mad.
Yeah, and there's there's something funny that I noticed. Okay, so I was watching this podcast and they're talking about this lady. Lady called in the show and she was like wondering why she got ghosted by this dude. Okay, so she goes. Okay, she's wondering. It is. I wish you had a mic. Facts. So she's talking, explaining the story. So like it was one date. Everything went good. The guy took her out, paid for dinner, all this stuff.
Everything was good.
I mean, everything was good at first. Okay, so happened. Then he's like, "Hey, you want to come back to my place?" She says yes. Comes back to the place. Then from there, he goes, "All right, let's go up to the bedroom." So then she proceeds to go up to the bedroom. Then he's like, wants to get in the bed. So then she gets in the bed. And, I guess they kiss or fool around a little bit, whatever. But she doesn't have sex with him. Okay? And then she's like...
so she went to this nigga's house, went up to this nigga's bed. And
yes.
And
then so she went there and then like cuddled, I guess, for the whole night. Left home the next day. And then he ghosted her. And she's like, I don't understand why he ghosted me. Right? So when I hear the situation... It's like
I don't understand her. I don't understand her.
What I don't understand is like, okay, you are leading this man on to believe something that's definitely not true.
You went to this nigga's house, right? Okay, maybe go back for a nightcap, right? Kicking it on the couch.
Hold on, disclaimer. If you don't want to have sex with somebody, I'm not telling you have to have sex with anybody. I'm just saying you are definitely leading this man on to believe something.
What y'all in the bed for?
Thank you. Thank you. What else are you gonna do? And especially as what a man, if a man saying let's come to bed, what the hell does that mean?
That's what the nigga think. I'm surprised the nigga didn't kick her out. Like, all right, well, bye.
But I'm sure this probably happened to many women where they're like they don't understand why they got ghosted for some reason like that, But it's like if you lead on these signs onto a man that is showing that hey, like it's a check after check. All right, took you out to dinner, did this for you. You come home, you come into my bed, we get out of our clothes, we're kissing and do all this stuff. And then you say no, and then you wonder why you get ghosted. It's like it's like
a big ass game we just played.
It's like it's a very angry game.
So like check this out.
Can she change her mind?
Well, she can, but
she can change her mind. But it's like also it's like why did you go? Why did you lead him on that night?
Like if you're changing your mind, why did you spend the night?
And why did you lead him on to think like there was all this stuff happening? It's like that's like leading. That's like
if you're saying like I don't want to sleep with you, like that's cool, but then take your ass home.
No. You know what? No, you know what it's like? It's like hey, I'm gonna take you out on a date. I want to take you out. I'm gonna dine you, wine you, blah blah. We get to dinner. I'm ordering everything for you. You're like happy as hell. Then I'm like, here's the bill.
But who?
You would, and I said, why change my mind? You'd be like, fuck you. You would say, fuck you, motherfucker. That's like you ain't a man and this and that. So then why is it not the same for the men? If you leading us on to believe something, then why does it not fit the same category?
No, she's foul. And I remember Dave Chappelle had a joke about this, like about the uniform, right? Like if you see a police officer, you know what I'm saying? He's got on the uniform. That's what identifies him as a police officer, right? For sure. So if you see somebody in like, you're khaki doing pants, like you look like a police officer, so don't get mad when I treat you like a police officer.
Yeah, right? Exactly. And you're doing all the same symptoms.
And I know there's a lot of feminist people who are going to disagree with me. There's a gang of people a gang of females who are going to disagree with me when I say this. However, if you're walking around, you know what I'm saying, with your titties out and your ass out, don't get mad if a man approaches you like you a hooker. You got on the uniform.
Thank you. Right? And it's like, and I understand they're going to say, well, I should be entitled to wear what I want.
You are entitled. You are. But don't get mad when people treat you like a certain way.
Society is like this.
Now I'm okay.
Huh?
Somebody thought I was a hooker one time, and I was just walking.
Someone thought you were a hooker one time, and you were walking there.
So look,
what the hell are you wearing, woman? That's my wife. Hold on. Let's handle this shit. Hold up, Nick. I cussed. Damn it.
So look, I told you that wasn't gonna last.
I knew that wasn't gonna last. I'm gonna stop. No more cussing the rest of the time.
Okay, we'll see.
I did cuss probably.
But the point that I'm not saying this to justify like men, putting their hands on women or touching on, you know what I mean? Putting their hand. First of all, you putting your hands on a woman, I think is totally disrespectful unless she asks for it. 100% disrespectful, right? However, that does go to speak like if he approaches you like you a hooker, look at how you're dressed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, he put your hands on you and all of that stuff. He an asshole, right? Yeah. That don't have nothing to do with how you dress. He's just an asshole. But
he may dress mousely and he still may do that. But that goes to the person, right?
Exactly. That goes to the person.
But if you are fitting the category of something that usually fits like this,
you fit the
then
description.
Don't be mad when people look at you this way. Like it's like if you're going to go and wear red lipstick and makeup in the office and have your cleavage out, and then you get mad when someone looks at you, it's like, well, why are you dressing in this way that makes people want to look at you?
Like people are going to look at you. You have to understand that. And you can't be offended like that. You cannot cannot be offended.
That's
you know
what
I mean? The same way, like if
I don't understand.
You just can't be offended.
No, I just think it's funny because like it's a total like normally that would be it's like the kettle pot. What is that term? The kettle
calling the kettle black.
Yeah, because it's like like I said, I'm not saying that if you don't want to have sex with anybody, don't have sex.
Don't do it.
And that's okay. You want to get to the bed and then you don't want to, be fine.
But then go home.
I just say that and leave.
And then go home. Yeah.
Because you know what he's expecting.
And
like I said, if it was the other way, if there's the other way around, and I'm telling you where I want to take you, I'm trying to dine you up, and I'm telling you all these things that you want to hear. And yes, and it's like I'm ordering everything, whatever you want. I got you, and then the time the bill comes, I'm like, I changed my mind.
Here's the thing, though.
You would be not you, but the woman would be pissed
for sure. For sure.
So then how come it's not okay? It's like unjustified that the man's pissed, because obviously you know what he wants.
These relationship dynamics.
It's like
I'm a firm believer that in relationship dynamics, and typically when I talk to other women, black women specifically, it's always like, well, like these men ain't shit. You know what I mean? It's really like sometimes where this conversation goes, and then I think to myself like, yo, you really not shit neither. You know what I mean? Like, when are we going?
It's like, are you like a 10?
Yeah, like
then you talking shit like you a 10 when you were 5 or something. You know what I mean?
I'm not even talking about like ranking scales. I'm just saying like, nigga, you really not shit neither, right? Because you want to talk about him and all the stuff that he not doing. Nigga, look at the shit that you're not doing.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? And like, I think women have way more power in this situation than they lead themselves to believe. Like, let me give you an example.
Okay. I'm curious because I'm
single mothers.
Okay.
That have daughters.
Okay.
That date thug niggas.
Okay.
But know in their heart they don't want their daughter to date thug niggas.
Okay.
Why you keep bringing thug niggas around your daughter?
Good question. That's
who you think your daughter gonna want to date?
And to go to this too is
thug niggas.
No, and to go to that too is. Even if you tell your child all the time, like, oh, don't do this, they're going to look at what you do more than what you say.
Single mothers.
And they're going to model what you do more
raising
than what you
young
say.
men. Don't want their sons to be thug niggas. But who you dating? Who are you bringing around him? Thug niggas. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Like, all of this stuff plays a part. And I said that to say that when we're looking at the way that these relationships break down, it's not 50, it's 50-50, right?
Yeah.
We always get to the point.
Society is no, but yes, I agree.
But we're always getting to the point that I'm making is that we're always getting to the place where we're saying like, oh, well, it's just no good men out here. These niggas ain't shit and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking like, well, you're really not shit neither.
And that's why I think it's like, you got to look at that first. Like before you look at everybody else, maybe you should look at yourself. And I'm not saying, maybe you do have great qualities and you are there. Well, then why are you attracting this type of person to you every time?
But nobody takes the time to figure that out.
It's like,
because nobody wants to be single long enough to figure that out.
But sometimes you need to be single to figure out who you are, to know what you like, what you don't like, and what you call.
Unpopular opinion, because single people want to what?
Be with somebody.
Boom.
Immediately. But that's what society tells you to do. Like, you're supposed to get married, have kids, be with somebody that's what, it's fed into you as a kid.
Turn that shit off. Turn that shit off.
So I just, I don't know. It's interesting.
It's I've seen.
But, well, I will say this.
I have seen a slew of relationships. Let me say that.
Well, I hear that because I hear two things that there's no good men. I hear this. I heard this from some black women, not a lot, but some black women heard there's no good men, there's no good black men, and then I hear black men say I don't want to date a black woman. Okay, I've heard this. Okay, so I don't think it's necessarily that they don't want to date black women. I think it's the stigma that's put on black women. That is more of the issue than it actually is. And then these are things that you're just taught to believe. So like if you're saying that black women or have attitude or anger, or these certain like stereotypes, and then a black woman you see who's a strong black woman, it will come across as that, and then you are automatically going to assume that's what it is, and then you say I don't want to deal with that. You know? And I've heard this do black men. I've heard it do black men before.
I've heard black men say that. Okay, so here's what's glaring. I've heard black men with daughters say that. And that is...
Which is crazy to me.
That is so crazy to me. You're a black man. You have a daughter who is a little black girl who's going to grow up to be a black woman. I don't care what her mama is. You know what I mean? I don't care what she's also mixed with. Right. She's going to grow up to be a black woman. Yeah. And all of the things that you're saying, like when you raise... like That's what you're saying about your daughter.
It's like you're killing your own kind.
Yes.
It's like
that's what you're saying about your seed.
Own. Yeah, that's why I don't understand.
You made her.
I don't get that. I don't understand that.
You made her. Like, you made her. And how she turns out, whether she's going to be angry at the world, whether she's going to carry herself with to be feminine anything, all of that is directly is going to be a direct reflection on the way that you treated her and the way that you treated her mother. Right. You understand what I'm saying? And the other women in your life. So, like, she's going to grow up internalizing some shit that you said. And
then that's going to create the actual problem that you are pretty much trying to not have. Like, you are in turn creating the problem that you don't want.
How could you believe that? Like, how could you, looking at your black daughter, think like, I can never date black women personally because they all loud? So when you look at your black daughter, when she grows up, are you expecting her to be loud?
I see. I get it. I understand.
Are you then expecting her to be angry?
So you're putting her in the category of the people that you don't like immediately from the jump, like you're saying.
Or I wonder if they think about that.
But I don't even think they get that far.
I wonder if they think about that.
I don't know. But I mean, I'm just saying what I've seen. Like, that's what I've seen. I've never really had to get that, never gotten that deep
into it, yeah.
Because like it always comes up to the walls, or it has an excuse behind it, and it's just like, you're not trying to listen. You're not even trying to go there, you know. But it's like, I don't understand how you can hate your own kind. It's like
that's deep.
But then, so the other side of the men will be like, well, I don't like the attitudes or like the aggressive, remember, microaggressions, stuff like that, you know. But it's more of, are you equipped enough as a man to handle a strong woman? Number one.
That's part of it.
So are you equipped? And if you're not equipped, just say that you're not equipped. But to sit there and make these accusations like that is way more demeaning than it is helpful. And here's
okay, so I appreciate everything you just said, but something about it just like it just twinged a little bit. And the reason why is because, like, are you in a position to handle a strong black woman,
or just a strong woman in general?
A strong woman, period. But like, we were talking about this, like, what makes her a strong black woman? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, let's look at that word strong. Let's look at the reasons why we're calling her that, right? Because what you perceive to be a strong black woman is really just a woman doing what she had to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So what makes her, what about that makes her strong?
I understand.
You know what I mean? It makes her human, right? And we use that word strong to demean the fact, or to take away from the fact that they still need somebody. That they still need protection, that they still need help, that they are willing to fall in line. Do you understand what I'm saying? And follow and love and take direction and build this family. Do you understand what I'm saying? The way that it's supposed to support. You know what I mean? Be in a position to really support their man and push them and thrive. So let's look at what we're calling strong.
But see, there's a problem that goes with this too, is because when the man who sees a woman, a strong woman who had to go through things, right? But is it like, are you upset because she's taking on roles that you should be doing better than you because you're not equipped? That's because there's a psyche part of it, of like, the man side is like, okay, you're strong, and I don't want to have to battle you for rank.
But I think that men, I don't think that it should be thought about like that. And granted, you know,
I'm not saying there's
outliers everywhere, right? Some women are going to be...
Yeah, I know. I get you. It's
but
not
I think
everybody,
for the most part, but I honestly think for the most part, when we say these strong women, like, what's the alternative?
I see.
I did what I had to do out of necessity.
Yeah, it wasn't like I just wanted to do. You're saying I don't want to do this.
Yes,
I had to do
not
this.
Not because there were a slew of people coming saying, hey, let me do this for you. Let me do this for you. Let me do this for you. You know what I'm saying? Or one person saying, let me do this for you. Let me do this for you. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I get that.
I think the majority of the women that we label strong black women are strong. And I use that in quotes, right? Because I don't really think that's what it is. It's out of necessity.
Right. I get that.
It's
kind of like you got to do what you got to do.
What's
to make
the alternative?
Die? Like, I get it.
What's the alternative? Die?
I get
like,
that.
seriously, become a crackhead, live on the streets because I didn't want to be strong, or I didn't want to, you know what I'm saying?
I get that. And I understand.
I didn't want to take on these roles. I didn't want, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But see, then, so is it hard for a woman to turn that off when she gets in the position to where she finds a man like that?
That's a different question.
Because there are times where it's like, okay, the men can understand that sometimes. But then it's like, okay, well, I'm here to do this. I'm everything you're asking, what you need, I'm giving to you. But I don't want to have to fight over the position because are you falling in line when you do find that? Because and then it comes to the point, there are good men, but are you willing to submit to a good man when you find it?
Okay.
Then it also goes to like, when you do find a strong woman, are you prepared enough to be equipped to to have that woman to be strength with you,
to let your husband lead?
Yeah, you know, because you're giving away that power to do that, and now, that's hard to do if you've been on your own.
But here's the thing: if it's out of if what I'm describing, right, is a situation that's out of necessity, am I truly giving something up? No, no, I'm not giving anything up, right? Because I never wanted to. All I wanted to do was live. All I wanted to do was be successful. All I wanted to do was make something of myself. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's all I wanted to do, right? You guys labeled it strong and independent, right? I didn't label it that. All I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying?
I get it. I get you.
So then if that's all I wanted to do, then when the perfect man comes along, right? Then is it really a power struggle? No. Because I never wanted that in the first place.
But then there are women that want to keep that and say, "Well, I don't need a man."
But I think there are quite a few more who men won't even approach. Who men won't even approach. They won't even go because it's like they feel inferior because of what she brought to the table, and that's not a her problem. That's a you problem.
Right? Which I agree. I agree with that. I agree wholeheartedly with what you just said. That's an extremely good point. And there's also an intimidation factor of trying to go and approach somebody like that. You know?
Okay.
There's an intimidation problem because it's also like, do I really want to have to? Because you got to remember, these are like psychological issues that we're dealing with, and there's also stigmas that have been placed in us for years.
The traumas from black family, slavery, all of that.
There are some men that will go up and say, I don't even want to deal with the attitudes. I don't want to deal with the anger or the aggression. They're going to have these excuses, right? So I'm just playing the real scenario because I've heard this. This is the real scenario. So what would you say then if there's a man who's like, I'm strong and I can do it, but I don't want to have to wrestle with the idea of trying to be in the position when you should let me in the position.
Here's what I say.
I've proven myself to you, but then you still try to get your way still. I'm proving that I'm capable. I'm holding you down in every single way that you're asking for, and even the ways you don't ask for, but yet you still want to try to come at me like you're going to make decisions and make rank and tell me what we need to be doing.
So I know that.
And then traditional role. So
I know that there are men who would look at that situation and be like, bro, bounce, right? Like, seriously. But then what I would say is that nobody is coming to a relationship a complete picture. You know what I mean? Everybody's going to be a work in progress. Everybody's going to have their bag essentially that needs to be unpacked.
Sure.
So 100%. what I would say is that if you are having open and honest communications with your mate about this thing, right? Like, baby, you don't need to do that. Baby, I need you to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And she's still constantly fighting you at every turn, then maybe that's not for you. But the same way that we expect women to be ride or dies for people bros who don't have no job but are struggling to make the business work, you want her to be a ride or die, right? At what point do you return the favor to your woman? At what point do you say, I see the way that this is, I see the way that the world has shaped you, and I see the way that you were made to be put in this position? At what point, you know what I'm saying, do I say, but I'm gonna stick it out with her? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna smooth and refine her edges because I know if the roles were reversed, she's gonna stick it out with me.
Right, I agree.
Same thing for a man who's not used to being committed, right? And like the idea of commitment is a struggle, right? You expect to have a girl who's gonna ride with you through that, right? Men do.
But also, and as a man, are you able, if you want a woman who's a ride to die, are you able to die to yourself on some things?
You have to.
That's the question, because it's like we wanted the ride or die woman, but then are you willing to kill off things that aren't good for your relationship as well on your end?
Exactly.
To foster that relationship. I mean, there's a huge dynamic with that alone.
Only one of us got to be a ride or die. I'm just asking for clarity.
Yeah,
like, I'm the only one in this 2-part series that got to be a ride or die, or do you got to be a ride or die too?
And like, how much are you? If we were really going to ride or die to the whole cause all the way through, we got to kill off stuff. I don't want to necessarily kill, but I got to make this work.
Because if I'm the only one riding, then like you said, I'm the only one. I'm constantly taking away from myself, and there's that also comes down to trust. Are you able to actually open and trust this person enough to be that vulnerable? Yes.
To be like, I'm gonna give it all.
Yes.
I may not know where it falls.
Yes.
But I'm willing to go there.
And then this is where it goes back to a question of, or an issue of like capacity, right? Okay. Capacity to give and receive love. And and I'll explain what that means in a second. But the reason, I don't want to lose my train of thought. But the reason why I say that is because if we're both expected to be ride or dies, right? Every ride or die has to sacrifice some things, right? I have to give up a little bit of what I wanted to make it work here. You know what I'm saying? Because I was riding for you in this area.
Right.
So when I do that, how much of me am I taking off, right? My jacket, my, you know what I mean? How much of me am I taking off to ride for you? Because at a certain point, if I keep taking shit off, I'm not the same person anymore. Do you understand what I'm saying?
And will that foster resentment? Will that foster some resentment?
Because at what point does the person look and say, dang, she's done all of this for me. She's sacrificed all of this for me. She's done all of this for me, right? And then your girl start acting different and you don't understand why. Because she been riding or dying for 20 years.
Right.
She been taking stuff off for 20 years.
And then it feels like not being reciprocated.
You don't recognize her no more, right? Because it was never reciprocated. You never took a step back to be a ride or die for her. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like that shit goes back and forth. And when I say that this relates to...
It relates to?
So when I say this relates to a question of capacity, like what are you giving, right? We say that some people have a huge capacity to give love, right?
Right.
And then some people don't have that same capacity.
Understood,
right?
Okay.
So like you say, like we coined it like people, I just love hard, right? Like we hear that expression a lot. I love hard, right? And I think really
is that
what
like
that
closet
means,
term for being crazy? Like
no,
like I was making sure. I'm just like
honestly, I think
because in my head it's almost like if you say you love her, I'm kind of like you might be real crazy.
No.
Like that's what like first thought was like maybe she's crazy. Are you crazy?
No, I think it means that I think it means the way that somebody the way that this person is able to love is it goes beyond anything that I can you've experienced, right?
It's like this is real. I'm all in.
Yes,
all in.
Right, and that
crazy
and sometimes it's suffocating, and it's like
right. For sure.
So then you ask yourself, are you dealing with the person who has a big capacity to receive love, right? Because there are some people who it doesn't matter how much you love them, and it could be pure and it could be great, but there are some people who will never understand that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's foreign.
Yeah.
And because of that, they can't submit to it. And because of that, they're just like, nah, you doing, you know what I mean? Like they don't understand it because they don't have the capacity to receive that.
Right. Because they've never been shown that. They don't know how that works.
They don't know how it works.
Don't know. Maybe this,
I don't know how it feels. This is different.
And this is wrong. Maybe
what
it's
you
wrong.
mean? You don't want nothing?
This is too much.
This is too much. What you mean you don't want nothing?
And it was something, I had a conversation with somebody and they were saying, this is a little sidebar. They were saying that they didn't like when women become clingy. This person they had numerous dates and stuff, but they said a big turnoff was when a woman gets really clingy like right away. And I was like, this is interesting. We started like talking about it and breaking. I'm like, why do you feel that way? And he was like, you know, I don't know. It's because like people, like when I was in one relationship, it was real like abusive, and they were saying I was pretty much acting like a bitch and da. And so he like got turned off on the idea of him being clingy to somebody else, and then a woman being clingy to him. But I was like, is it the fact that it is a woman being clingy, or it's a woman that you don't want being clingy? And he was like, well, if I like her, then I wouldn't care. And I was like, okay.
Exactly.
So it's not about being clingy.
It's not about being clingy.
This is the woman that you were being clingy. The clingy to you is not the one you actually want.
Right.
So let's clarify this.
Or maybe that's the way that she shows her love. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's what I mean by capacity. Like sometimes it's unequal. Yeah, right? for sure. Sometimes you're dealing with people who naturally give. You know what I mean? And they're natural givers, and their capacity in that way is huge. And you're dealing with people who don't know how to take that and don't know how to receive that. True. So the person that loves hard is always going to feel like your love is not being reciprocated. Not because they're not loving you with everything they have, but because what they have to love you with is less than what you have to love them with. That's what I mean by capacity.
I understand.
They're loving you from a a 12-ounce cup, and you're loving them from a 24-ounce cup. All they got is 12 ounces.
And it's very unequal. So it's going to feel very unbalanced.
Yes, so it's always going to feel that way.
And then you got to ask yourself, are you able to take that?
Are you able to
have less of that love and be able to give more for long enough for it to get there?
Because all they got to give you is 12 ounces.
Yeah, and even at that, maybe that 12 ounces will grow, but are you sure? I mean, there's a lot of, I mean, and that's why it goes to a lot of trust.
And check this out.
This trust.
They may not even have 12 ounces to give you, because the way that we're hurt in our lives, the trauma that we carry around in our lives takes that shit down. So maybe they got a 12-ounce cup, but they really only got 8 ounces to give because they still fucked up.
And that's one thing I want to say too with you were saying, like, you know, women are saying like, oh, there's like no good black men or men or whatever, and then like black men are saying like they don't want to date black women, but it's like we have both sides been traumatized a lot for the same exact things. Also not having fathers in the home. Both people went through that, not just one. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're saying that like pretty much I can't love you, but then you want someone to love you even though you're messed up too. That's where I don't understand. That's where the disconnect for me, it just doesn't make sense. because you were saying that you are so broken by the system that I was in with you. Exact same thing. That I can't love you, but I expect someone to love me from being in that same exact system. And so the men that say that, I don't understand how you expect someone to love you then. Because if you can't sit there and say the people that were treated the same way as you can't love anymore, or you can't deal with, or you can't be around, you are molded in that same kind of environment.
Let's talk about, but
you are molded,
even though that's true,
so
everybody, that's true, but some people have a different hold on their issues than other people do. Okay. In the sense that some people are walking around with traumas that they don't know about.
True.
Some people are walking around with broken hearts that they don't know about. Some people are walking around with traumas that they know about, but they don't know the ways that it comes up in their life, right? They know that this thing happened. They know that they're a little bit fucked up, but they don't see the way that this manifests in other ways in their behavior. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And then some people have a hold on all of that, and even though they're still broken and they still have the traumas, they understand it a little bit better, right?
Okay.
I say Jesus, right? But to people listen to the podcast who don't like,
I get you.
I say Jesus. Okay. However, so yes, we all have the same traumas, but whether or not we have a hold on our issues, right? How many people done unpack their bag, and how many people just keep putting shit on top of it? You know what I'm saying?
And then they think everybody else is the problem.
So
too.
Here's the thing.
I get that.
What if a person who does have traumas, they went through shit, you know what I'm saying? They have it, they have a hold on what it is, and they've started to see the way that it manifests in their behavior. Okay. Right? And then you're trying to love or be friends with, be cool with, have sex with, be in a relationship with, you know what I mean? Friendship, platonic or not platonic, right? Somebody who does have those issues and is coming along on that process. Do you know how exhausting it is to deal with my shit and yours?
I can understand.
That's a capacity thing. Like I can't.
I can understand.
Like I can't. I'm tired. But then
so
you have to decide if it's worth it, right?
Yeah.
The person with the issues, you know what I mean? They can't decide, right? Because to see somebody who does have issues but has a hold of them, right? That's like a breath of fresh air. Oh, right. They got issues.
You kind of crazy, but you ain't.
But
crazy.
They made it, right?
Like,
they kind of crazy, but you're
ain't.
not that crazy, and you made it, right?
Yeah.
So then to the person with the issues, it's like, dang. I could make it too, right?
Yeah.
But then for the person trying to drag them along, shit's exhausting.
It can be. I can understand that. It can be very exhausting because it's like you're pulling on two weights. Your own.
I can't heal you and
your
me,
own
bro.
issues, and that's why both people need to be willing to work on their own issues
separately.
You know? Like it's one thing that we can do some stuff together in a relationship, and
but that's separate.
Like, this is not like I'm not taking on your issues and making it my problem.
I can't.
Because what I'm seeing is this is actually not a me. I have to change me. It's you got to work on you type of problem, and you got to be aware enough to realize when it is I need to change something for me, and also you need to work on you.
So then, personal question.
Yes.
For you, because you're married.
Okay.
So when you started to get serious in your relationship, did you notice that each of you guys had different things in yourselves that about relationships made you guys uncomfortable or hesitant or started to come up in your relationship? It starts to come up in your relationship.
It doesn't happen right up in the very, very beginning, but after months you start seeing little things like she starts seeing things with me.
Like the first month you're dating, you send your representative. Like not your real you,
not
the real you.
It's the best polished version.
You send your representative, right?
It's the corporate you, like you know. Then it's like, all right, let me take off my tie,
dress to the nines, hair done. Like you send your representation.
Yeah, for sure. But
like
then
me on my best day,
those layers start peeling back. And then you like, slowly. Then it's like, do you start taking on their problems? Because like there was times I had issues I didn't even know. Me and my wife had plenty of discussions about the things I was even doing I wasn't even aware of. And then I was like, dang, I didn't realize that I had it together. And I realized there's things that when I hear them out loud from somebody else, I'm like, oh, that's fucking crazy. Hold on, like I'm tripping.
You get hurt a little bit, like
I'm like, yo, like I'm kind of fucked up.
How have I been living 30 plus years on this earth? And
sometimes it's that whole. You're in the picture and you don't see what's going on.
Yeah, you're in it. You're in it too much. Yeah.
You have a person that you can confide in that can be like, "Hey, I seen that you was feeling that way, but let me tell you that this is what I seen. That's why it's probably coming up because of this." And that's what Anthony do. I'm like, Anthony, you're probably feeling this way because X, Y, and Z. And I seen it.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Why?"
I didn't think about. I never. And we
had to unpack every trauma and
And mind you, I'm very aware of a lot of things. I'm pretty aware for the most part. Jesus. Like, you know, I'm very aware of like things I do and like how I say them and stuff. But then it's like, yo, you still missed it. As aware as you can be.
You still got
like the relationship. I feel like a relationship is there to show you the parts you need to fix. So
okay, here's the thing. In a relationship, the parts you need to fix. You're having this conversation with Bam. Bam's telling you, look at this, look at this, look at this. At that point, it's never Bae's responsibility to fix your issues.
For sure not.
It's never like it's never his responsibility to fix your issues. It's yours.
But the problem.
It's yours.
The problem is
that's your bag, boo.
But there's a side of this that we don't talk about yet.
Okay.
When someone tells you that, and you get pissed at the person for telling you the truth about yourself that you don't want to fix because you think they're the problem now. And I've been there too.
That's the word, honey.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I've been in the part where I've heard I had to fix shit, and I'm thinking, whatever. Like, you need me fix shit.
Fuck
Did you look at yourself?
Fuck
Did you look at yourself? And then it's like, oh, this is a problem I need to fix. But it took me being able to identify that after being told. And also things I just realized on my own to fix it. I mean, I come and tell her, I'll come to my wife and be like, well, I realized I hadn't been doing this and I'm going to try to fix this, you know? Never said anything. There's times that she's brought up stuff and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, okay. Not even trying to hear that. Nah, that's you probably. And then I have to take some time to sit there and like, is this true? And how is this true? And then, okay, no, she's right.
Do I really?
You know?
But sometimes you got to also be 100% yourself and say, hey, Anthony, you're trying to fix me, but you can't fix me.
Yeah.
There's been a time where I tell them, you can't fix me. I gotta speak up for myself. Like, I've literally told him, there's times
I wish you had a mic.
Me too.
I wish you had a microphone.
Like, you can't fix me, bro.
And then the thing is, the way I was raised, I was always used to fixing the problem. And as a man, I'm used to fixing the problem.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we do.
Yeah.
Right. You'll see it. Every man is like very similar in this. Not all, but every man is very similar. You always want to fix problems. She told me something. I'm not hearing about why she feels.
I don't
I'm
care
just like,
why.
Just
what we gotta do.
We're gonna fix it. Oh, they're saying this to you. Okay, don't call it this time. Oh, they're gonna do this. Well, just don't do that. Don't worry about that. Then do this. But it's like you want to talk. You want to listen. And I'm just like, I'm trying to fix it. So when you tell me a problem, I'm just trying to fix it and be done. I'm not trying to hear all the other emotions. I'm just trying to fix it, be done. You don't got to worry about the problem anymore. But then as a man, you got to remember too and realize that it's more than just fixing the problem. It's not your job to fix the problem all the time. There's a time where you need to sit and listen. There's a time you need to shut up and do. Yeah. But you need to also be able to define the two between your relationship.
That's powerful.
You know?
That's powerful.
That's something we don't talk about a lot because as men, we are always trying to fix it.
Yeah.
We will always try to fix the problem.
And then
you come and tell me, oh, hey, I just had a bad day at work. I hate this job. Okay, quit. I'll work more hours. Quit. Well, no, because like it's just these people are doing this and they're saying this. It's like, okay, well then email them this. Well, no, because like I don't want to. And then it's like, well, why are you telling me about the problem if you don't want to fix it? And so as men, we have to also realize that there's a time we need to just listen.
Yeah. Sometimes your lady just
wants to vent. Because a woman just wants to listen.
But sometimes she just wants to vent.
And it's so against our nature to just hear a problem and not want to fix it.
For sure.
And then so on the flip side is too, it's like women, we're always trying to get it done. We don't open up as much because we're not trying to focus on what I feel about it. I'm stressed about the problem. I want to fix it. That's it. Talking about it isn't really going to help me. Fixing it will help me more than talking about it.
I saw a post on Instagram that I really thought was apropos to this particular situation. I'm going to try my best to quote it, but I don't know verbatim. But it was something along the lines of he's not running away from the woman because he thinks that she's too good for him. He's running away from the parts of himself that he would have to fix to keep her. Right? Yeah. And then that goes back to...
That's a lot of self-awareness, self-analyzation, you know, like, are you willing to die for things that you didn't necessarily want to at first?
It's so much stuff that goes into it, right? And I think that's another thing that men won't easily address, and I don't know because I'm not a man, but fellas, holla at me, is that sometimes
I'll speak for the men today.
Okay.
I'm speaking for the men, okay?
This just ain't everybody. I'm just playing.
I'm speaking for the men.
But how much of the time is it where you see a woman, right, and you see everything that she's got going on, you know what I mean? Okay. And instead of labeling her strong and independent, I'm not going to approach her for XYZ. How much of that, how much of the reason for not approaching or not starting that conversation is because they know inside of themselves that there's something that they would have to fix to get that?
I don't think a lot of men know up to that deep.
Okay.
I don't think it's like I gotta fix myself to be for her. I think it's, I think it's a bigger reflection of that's too much. It's more of an excuse and a problem on that than it is and I'm sure there are men that do like realize, okay, I'm definitely not enough for her. Like I gotta get my life together to be with her.
Step my game up.
Which I think there's part of it in there, but it's not the full. Like it's probably like I need to make more money to get with her. Something like a more surfacey. It doesn't get that deep where it's like, okay, I need to change like core things about me that are very toxic because I cannot sustain the relationship. I don't think it gets that deep at first.
So maybe that happens like after you guys have already been in a relationship for a while.
After a while, then you start seeing stuff. And then it's like, are you going to keep blaming her as a problem? Or are you going to look at the things you actually are doing wrong? You know, but it's hard to hear that from your woman because the part of being vulnerable is very hard for a man to open up and just say this kind of stuff, because in the back of her head we're always thinking like, I mean, I'm vulnerable, but you know, if we break up, you're just gonna just kill me off. You know what I mean? With the things I'm giving you that I don't tell anybody else, like this can destroy me because I've never told anybody this. Nobody I know. So as for there's men, and I would say I would feel comfortably saying majority or a lot of men that feel that way, that they don't want to open up. And then on top of it, then there's the strong woman, and it's like then if I do open up, then it's like, oh, I don't need you anyways. Then it's like, well, shit, now I'm not needed.
That's fucked up.
But now it's like now I opened up, told you the most vulnerable parts of my life that I don't tell anybody, and then you just say I'm not needed and fuck you and I don't need you anyways. So now I don't even feel like I'm worth it.
Right. So that's a whole level
which
of
is not
trauma.
Necessarily their problem. It's not you guys' fault necessarily, but also that would hurt.
And hell yeah, that would hurt me.
You know what I'm saying? So as men, like that's what we feel, because we're not going. It's like women are more open to talk about their emotions. It's more acceptable.
For sure.
For men, it's not as acceptable.
We gotta
like,
break that.
Like if a 30-year-old said, well, I don't really know what I'm doing in my life. I don't got my shit together yet, but I'm kind of still figuring it out. As a man, fucking killed. A woman, acceptable.
It's cute.
It's like, okay, well, you know, it's okay.
Yeah.
Men, what the fuck is wrong with you? You are not a man. Like you're totally castrated.
That's terrible. We gotta sisters, we can't do that.
So for men,
we can't do that.
And I'm not saying it's the women's fault, you know, but what I'm saying is this is how it's perceived.
I met some sisters who be like, well, he baby, and I'm like,
So like I'm speaking on behalf of men because I was also a very sensitive man growing up. Like I was a sensitive kid. Like I used to cry over everything for no reason. Like my niece stuck her tongue out at me one time when I was like 7, and I started bawling my eyes out. Like I was a little ass baby kid, you know.
Why would you do that?
And then also I never really regulated my emotions growing up. The way I was raised, like I never had time to really even deal with my feelings, because always dealing with somebody else's feelings, which in turn in relationships I would stuff my own feelings and just worry about how can I help you, not worrying about me. Fuck me, just I need to fix you. I need to do this because this is what I know to do.
Right.
And I had to learn that in my relationship now. It's like, it's not my job to fix everything, but it's very hard to be vulnerable and then have someone turn around and shit on you.
It is.
Like completely shit on you. And it's not like, I'm not a wordsmith, so I don't got the comeback, but you could. And then I'm just like, everything, the reason why I never want to open up is proven right now.
And then that keeps you from opening up in the future.
Asshole. Yep. And then I'm an asshole now. Yep. Or someone will lead me on and then ghost me and never even just give me a DC and just break up, just ghost, say nothing. And then it's like we internalize, and that happens with women too. I'm sure they internalize that kind of stuff
100% facts. So, this is why both men and women have baggage that they carry. We all got baggage.
Yeah, for sure.
We all got baggage, and we all. And honestly, like I'm tired of pretending like niggas don't, cause I got a whole bunch of shit. A lot. Yeah. Like my shit heavy. So
I feel you. I would cheers you if you had a beer right now, but you do want to drink today.
Okay. You're gonna put my whole business out in front of YouTube because I don't want to have a beer.
It's okay. It is okay.
All right. That's cool. I had to give you that. You see how you treat me in America?
I had to give you that one.
You see how you treat me in America?
But like honestly, like there are so many issues that we have as like just in general, and it's like we never get the place to discuss it. And then if you do try to discuss it, then it's like I heard someone tell me it was a woman, and she was like, I don't want to say the problems because I don't want to be weak, but it's like you don't need to be strong either, though.
So
like
look,
at this point in life, you don't even have to be strong anymore.
As somebody who
can you turn it off?
Is aware of, you know, I think I'm pretty self-aware in the sense of like traumas and the ways I've been hurt and the ways that is manifest. I'm becoming more self-aware now, right? Okay. It's something that's been happening in the last few months
since the podcast.
And I'm the nigga.
The podcast. Since the podcast, somewhat.
No.
Wow, really?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Since I've been unpacking my bag on YouTube every Wednesday at 6 p.m., I have become
that's funny.
more self-aware. But anyway, through this process, like, even though I know the stuff, and I know that, you know, maybe this is a thing. Maybe we should, let's look at that. And you do this a lot. Maybe you shouldn't. Why do you? Right. And even though I'm self-aware in that sense, let's talk about the way that it is still deathly hard. Like, it feels like I might explode on the inside and die.
I understand.
If you're arguing, or not arguing, but if you're giving that to another person.
Yeah.
It feels like you might explode on the inside and die. I just want America to know that. Like, even though you're aware to share with somebody else, to share, like, well, you hurt my feelings.
You know, like, you know why it's
and
hard
I'm
for us.
And I'm vulnerable in this area, and I feel raw, and like all of that stuff. Like, it still feels like you might die and explode on the inside when you let those words come out of your mouth.
I'm glad you
and
said
that doesn't change.
I'm glad you said that, because I think
we need to know.
I think there are men, and I think there's quite a few men that believe, because you're a woman and because you have the liberty to say how you feel, that, like, you should almost, like, it isn't as hard to express how you feel because you have so many more rites of passage to be able to express yourself. Totally. So, like us, I think a lot of men don't realize that it's still probably just as hard or very close to being hard to express yourself.
Even for women, it's hard, because I mean, look, nobody wants to be the person with issues. Like, let's just keep it real. For sure. Like nobody. You want the other person to be the issue. Like, as sensitive as I am, right? And as much as I feel like I'm not afraid to be vulnerable, even though I kind of am. As much as all of those things are true, and I'm super sensitive and I feel everything, I still don't want to be no punk. Like, you still don't you still don't want to be no punk. You don't want to be the person with the issues. Like,
but see, that's where
I'm not gonna tell him all of that. Like, we just met.
Okay, not just met, but I'm saying, like, that part right there is where the disconnect happens.
I'm not gonna tell him that.
But I'm not gonna use it against you anyways.
That's what I'm saying. That's why we all need to be unpacked. As men, like, there are petty men. Don't get me wrong, there are petty men for sure. But there are men that just won't go there. They're just not gonna. You can tell them the most craziest thing you've ever done in your life, and if you guys are separated and break up, they may never. They probably won't even say anything. There are men that will. Petty men will. Right. Petty men will. Depends on who you're dealing with.
You know, there are petty men that will go and say, "Oh yeah," you know, and there's other men that just. That's what it was.
But see, that comes.
But then there's more women that are more petty or there are, at least what I've seen, my experience, not America. Maybe there are more. I'm not going to confirm or deny that. I've seen that between men and women. I've seen more women be petty about that kind of stuff, and also not address the person or the conversation. Talk about them behind, and I see more men be more direct.
I don't know.
I've seen more men be personally. I'm not saying that's women. All right. I'm saying women that I've seen personally.
And I'm gonna say that I've seen some situations like that too.
I've seen men do it too. But so I'm just saying I see more women. So I think it's harder because the shows we see, women are catty and more like talking and this. Men, there's a reason why I'm saying this, because when you look at the dynamics of men and women, when women there's a problem, what usually happens when you see women that have problems with each other in a group?
They argue.
Okay, they argue, and then what happens when they don't solve the argue?
I don't really know. I don't like conflict. I'm gonna go ahead and put that out there. I'm not a conflict. I don't really like it. I know people look at me and think like, oh, it kind of makes me uncomfortable. Especially now that I'm getting older. I feel like when I was younger, I was quick to maybe quicker to argue and stuff like that. But now I'd rather just be like, I don't.
Okay. Yeah, it's not worth it. But see, I've seen other women that will be catty or say something to the person behind their back or tell a lie about somebody, and then it's like, do you know that dating a woman who does this, that they may do this to you? And so if I'm vulnerable, I'm fucked. If I'm vulnerable, I am 100% fucked.
So
because if this does not work, I am very fucked up, you know?
We just gotta walk around telling our secrets to people?
No, not necessarily, but I do think there's power in that.
Really?
I think there's so much power in that.
We're just gonna be walking around telling everybody our secrets.
You don't have to say everything, okay, I'll put it this way. This will be really good. If your deepest, darkest secret you told everybody, would anybody have power against you?
I don't think, even though it's a secret, I feel like they don't have power over me now.
No. Because think about it.
No, because nobody got power over my secrets. No. They my secrets.
No, think about it. If you told something that's so embarrassing, that's like, I don't want anybody ever to know this. Like, this is just, core. Would it be better if you were to admit that to the world and everybody finds out from your mouth, or 10 years later and someone pops it up on you and says, that's what you was at. So
look, only in the situation. Only in the situation that I was ever going to be blackmailed, right? Nobody would ever successfully be able to blackmail me because they'll be like, I'll tell the world your secrets. And I'll be like, fuck you. I'll tell them now. Right. So only in the instance that I'm going to be blackmailed. But since I don't plan on becoming like, espionage, like I don't plan on pursuing a career in espionage. I don't think that'll happen. But no, I don't know.
I disagree.
I disagree. No. I don't even have words for that.
I'm just like, I'd rather just tell it all and be done with it. Then I don't have the shame of it.
I don't owe nobody. But like, you don't owe nobody your secrets.
No, I'm not saying I have to explain to you. But what I'm saying is to get it off of me and not feel shame or have to be secretive about having a double life or like, it's
why is it a double life? Because you got a secret.
No, it's because. What kind of secrets you got? No, I'm not saying for me. I'm just saying. I'm saying if people instead of trying to, I have secrets that I have not said yet. I've said most of it already.
No, Anthony tells the world. Anthony don't have no secrets.
I have like maybe one or two. My wife knows all my secrets.
We probably all got like one or two.
But I think you have a better benefit of exposing your secret than somebody else exposing it when you didn't want it.
Ain't nobody gonna expose my secret because it's my secret and don't nobody else know. It's mine.
Yeah, but what if you get to the point where you share something that's so vulnerable that you only told one person, and then this person decides to not be with you anymore, and then tell the world the secret that you never wanted to tell? If you had already told that secret, they had no power to ever do anything.
So if that happens, then you know what you got to do.
Why are you laughing? If that
happens, you know what you got to do.
My wife laughing in the background.
If that happens, you know what you got to do.
What am I supposed to do? What?
You got to boss up and thug up. Yep, it was me. I did it. Yep, that happened.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
You just gotta boss up and
for sure. But I'm thinking
boss up once they put it out there, not before they put it out there.
Yeah.
See, I disagree. Yeah. I disagree. Why give them the leverage though?
I mean, it's not leverage. So here's the thing: if somebody has a secret on you, and then they go ahead and tell the world, right? Like, oh well, this happened. The only thing you could do in that instance is you put that shit like, I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? And then you go out and you own the fuck out of it. Because once you do that, then there's no power, there's no leverage to be had, right?
I understand, but see, I'm talking about doing that before it even gets there. That's all I'm saying.
But
we're saying the same thing, but I'm saying never have anybody be in a position. But you don't have
to do it until it gets out.
but my thing is like, if you just do it, it never will get out.
I don't like it.
And you control the narrative.
I like my version better.
That's okay. But all I'm saying is, because I watched you say,
and I don't think I have any secrets that like if somebody told it, I would be like I don't give a shit.
I'm just saying, like, in general, because there are sometimes maybe you will have something, maybe something happens that's just like embarrassing.
I just thought about how bipolar as fuck that sounded. Like, you go from like being like, oh no, we got to tell secrets and be super vulnerable, to like, fuck that, I'm just gonna be. You really just did exactly what you're saying. America, I'm super, like, I need y'all to understand, like, when I say I got issues, the bag is heavy. That bipolar moment that we just experienced is in the bag.
See,
I already know.
I already know. I just really would think,
like, how did that emotion come out of the same person?
Yeah, because you really went both ways.
Because that was like, bitch,
be vulnerable. Talk.
Which one are you?
I ain't saying shit. Like, it's like, wait, hold on. What
Who are you right now?
What are we doing? What are we doing here?
It's a thug somewhere inside of me, even though I don't know why. Because I've never been a gang member, or I've always lived like a pretty straight, narrow life. Yeah. But there's a thug inside of me. I don't know where it came from.
It's okay. I think this comes from 8 Mile. Have you seen the movie 8 Mile with Eminem?
Oh, several times.
Okay, so remember the end of the battle when he's like, he's like, Cheddar Bob's like, yeah, man, he's gonna say that he fucked your girl and he shot me and
then his whole last verse was about that.
All about him.
And he's like, himself. Tell these people something else they don't know about.
Exactly. And then it's like, well, you don't got shit.
No, you don't.
You have nothing over me ever.
But then you do. It's not about. So at that moment, the dude was just a bitch, because at that moment, if you really a freestyler, you pick up the mic and you start talking about how you better than this nigga for all of the shit that he just said. if you a true credits. like straight up, if you Eminem lost, he's not Eminem anymore. Like, if you a real ass nigga, right? Because the story was about Eminem, so of course Eminem got a win. But if you a real ass nigga, shit.
But honestly, you gotta admit, in that
you get on that mic
in that position, it's like you're probably gonna lose, because everything you were gonna say was already said.
It don't matter. At least you say something. The nigga didn't say nothing. He picked up the mic and he was like, and then put the shit down.
I have nothing to say about him. Everything he said was confirmed.
Yeah, like you a bitch now.
What do you say? What would you say?
That's what I'm saying. He a bitch now.
Well, he was a bitch before, because he never said. Like, he wouldn't have said like, yeah, he's right.
How you supposed to go hang out with the homies after this? Like, you can't.
That's true. I mean, yeah. But that movie really molded that part of my mindset of like, just put the shit out first before anybody else. And not that I really have anything crazy. It's not like something crazy, but there are things like, we'll discuss later.
So when the podcast blows up, and people start like looking at archives and be like, ain't that the same Chantel who did X, Y, and Z when she was 11? I'm gonna be like, yup. It's me.
I get it.
You know what else I used to do? Boo-boo on myself. Thank you, Pastor Jackson, for that analogy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I stay using that. You know
true,
what else I used to do?
I think we all did.
You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck out of here.
That's a good point.
Fuck out of here.
That's a good point.
So when we blow up, Anthony, and they start tripping, like, didn't you used to?
No, I just think because like I see people get canceled over everything now. Like literally, I see people get canceled over nothing. People think that happened 10 years ago that was acceptable at the time is now unacceptable.
Can black people stop canceling each other, please?
I know.
Please.
I agree.
Like, let's stop canceling people, period. But like, black people definitely need to stop.
And that's why I'm saying this is because I've seen how this trend is going, and I don't know if it will stop or when, whatever. But in the event that it doesn't, and people want to cancel you or you lose sponsorship and all this stuff because of the fact you said something or something happened or something is exposed, my thing is just if you put it out there first and you just be truly to who you are, then nobody ever has anything on you. That's all I'm saying. You can admit it then when they bring it out, and then it's like, oh, cool. You socked this 3-year-old kid. Is like, it was my daughter, like, or my son, or whatever.
Like, it was me. I did it.
Okay, I guess we can't say we socked some little kid. We can't do that.
That's not true. Everybody. Really happen, but that's not true.
But
I've never socked a little. Wait,
I haven't. I never have. I mean, my little brothers fought, like older brothers.
I don't think I've socked like a little kid for no reason. I may have socked.
I've wanted to punch a kid for a reason, and they deserved it, but I didn't.
The fact that I have to think about this is terrible.
Maybe we might cut this.
I don't think I've socked a little kid.
No, I haven't.
I don't think I've socked a little kid.
I don't believe in violence.
Yeah, I don't believe.
I have popped somebody else's kid before.
Really?
Yeah, but I've never like socked.
No. Like popping like a pop, like, hey, stop, like, or
like a little tap on the leg, and
it
wasn't my kid, and I'm pretty sure they mama was right there. So
okay, well we know what she.
Sometimes these parents need a little help. Like, don't worry, I got you.
But honestly, I do believe in like spanking kids. Like, I think like having that discipline. It was just such.
I think while they're younger
in America, like literally California, it's illegal to spank a kid and all this stuff. But like honestly, when you really look at it, like that law went in, and then a lot of kids got way crazier.
So look, I think that here's what I think.
Just saying.
I think smaller kids. I think whooping is beneficial on smaller kids. I know this may seem backwards, but I think smaller kids, maybe up until like 10, it's an effective punishment.
I think so too.
I think after that,
they still do it in Texas.
Oh yeah, you send your kids to school to some places in the South, and they will paddle them.
I don't. It doesn't bother me.
I don't think. Look, I'm not against spanking at all.
But I don't care.
But I do think as when you get older, it's not effective.
Yeah, like especially when they're a teenager.
Yeah,
like when they're 14, 15. Like what you can do? Because you can spank them. They're not gonna hurt the same.
Spank no 12 or 13-year-old person.
You honestly have to punch a kid at that point to get him to really feel what.
Honestly, if it results to that, like we gotta look at some shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Like we really, really, really have to look at some shit. And I don't have any children, so I don't know.
No, it's just I believe in spanking kids. I don't think it's wrong.
I got whooped. I'm good.
That's what I'm saying. I got whooped. And I only had to get whooped like maybe 3 or 4 times. I learned quick. I said, hell no.
I got whooped more than that.
And I learned quick.
I was like, no,
I was terrified of my mom. My mom, and literally, it wasn't even real bad whoopings. Honestly, I was a really sensitive kid. I didn't like getting in trouble. I just never did. It was in my DNA.
My mouth always got me in trouble.
I was so quiet.
My mouth always got me in trouble. And shut up, Michaela.
That's why you're good on the podcast.
But I got more than 3 whoopings in my life.
Yeah, I got like probably 3 to 5 probably total.
Oh, I got more than that. I could probably double you up.
I mean, I learned quick. I said that. Nope. Don't like it. Nope.
Really? I mean, like I learned. Like it's not like I was getting whooped for the same thing over and over again. Although maybe I was.
No, I just didn't like getting whooped at all. I was like, don't get in trouble. And then when I'm 18, I can do what I want.
Yeah, like
I was 18. I was like wild.
I just think that at a certain point, the shit is not effective. Like even like punching a 16-year-old boy in the face for not listening. Like I don't think that shit is effective. I don't.
There was a video that just went viral too. The guy, there was a father and a stepmother, and the daughter was, I think the daughter had called the stepmother like a fat bitch or something like that.
How old is the daughter?
She'd be like anywhere from, I'd say probably 13 to 16.
Okay, so
and they sat her in the garage, and the stepmom was like, "What did you say? You called me a fat bitch?" And then the daughter was like kind of like crying and saying like, "Yeah, you know." And the dad was like getting on her, you know, which. Oh, I understand.
The little girl crying. Why she
was crying? She was like crying because I don't know the dynamics of it. It just looked real messed up.
Oh, I'm
it was
like, how you insulting people when you crying? That don't make sense.
No, she said it. I guess that she admitted it, but then the stepmom tried to grab her and rip her hair off, and then the dad was like, "Yeah, don't fucking that." And then the daughter tried to run. Then he dragged her back in the garage. And I'm just like, "Yo, this is like abusive. Like this is at the point of abusive." And I'm just like, how? I can understand. As a father, like, you know, your daughter will say something to your stepmom, you know, but no way should it get out of hand where like it gets there, in my opinion. It was just way too much force, and it was like you're belittling this kid. You're like two adults standing over you, belittling, like owing in on this kid who's obviously hurt and distraught. Yeah, she said some crazy stuff, but also, is it true?
Here's
were you a fat? You know, I mean, at that point, it's like, but it's like no disrespect, but also it's like, you know, it's like, how far does the actual parents need to go before there's like, is this too much?
Look, I don't have any children. Too much, you know? Zero children, no children. However, I've spent the majority of my working adult life working with other people's children. Right? Okay.
You a saint.
So I just not a saint, right? They pay, so I'm not definitely not a saint. I get paid for it. Let's be clear.
Touche.
But what I will say is that at a certain point, and I've talked to a lot of teenagers, right? Let me give you an example.
Please.
I call home because the girl wasn't doing no work, and I know the girl, she used to play basketball for me, right? She's not doing no work. Mom is like, you know, I just had gallbladder surgery and blah blah blah, and I'm not in a position. She walking around here saying crazy stuff, like she not listening. She talking crazy to me and all of this stuff, and I'm like, is she there? Put her on the phone, right? Like, because I'm about to
regulate,
right? She's like, no, she's not here. And I was like, bring her to school with you on this day, and I'll talk to her, right? So I talked to her, and we underestimate, and just from talking to her, we underestimate the ways that the world affects kids.
Yeah.
And we underestimate the fact that they have not lived long enough to develop a coping mechanism for the way that the world is fucking with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
COVID is fucking with them. They're spending so much time in the house. You're like, I don't understand why my kids keep fighting, right? They never fought before. They also used to go to different schools and hang out with the homies every day. And now they sitting up and looking at, now they're looking at each other every day, and they like, get on my sock. You know what I mean? Like,
it's building up. Like it's for sure,
building up because there's no way to go. Like, and then just by nature of their age, right? Just because the fact they're 15, 16 years old, they don't have a mechanism to cope with the shit that's happening in their life, right?
Right.
So if you have a kid that's pretty good, you don't have no major issues, right? And then all of a sudden they start acting out, we got to look at that, right? And understanding that whooping their ass is not the thing.
It may not be.
And then there's some kids, and I mean this, some kids got to get the fuck out and learn the hard way.
I agree.
Because you don't want to listen to me. That's cool. I feel that. I feel that. I told the girl, I said, look, when I was 16, my mom didn't know nothing either. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand. Like, it's I was like, it's an age thing. I was like, my mom didn't know nothing either. She would talk crazy to me too. But I understood that if I got to live in her house, I can't act like that. Right. So if I got to go in my room and I got to separate myself, then that's what we gonna do.
So how come parents don't let the kid, if they're like that wild, that out of control, why don't they let the kids be on their own and just figure it out?
I think,
because I think that's a better teacher than you trying to teach someone who's not trying to listen.
Honestly, straight up, I think it's illegal to kick a kid out of the house that's under 18 years old.
Not kick him out, but it's like, hey, if you don't like this house, you can leave.
That's
if you want.
a DCFS case.
Is it?
Yes. If a kid is under 18 years old and
what if they run away?
If a kid is under 18 years, if they run away, that's something different. But if a kid is under 18 years old and you kick them out of your house and they come back to school and they're like, well, I got kicked out, I'm calling DCFS.
Okay, but what if you don't get? I'm not saying kick him out. I'm just saying, like, look, these are the rules
he ran away.
You're not going to abide by these rules.
I just want to know if
you can't do that here.
There's
and then there's consequences for when you do this stuff here.
Let me say
if you don't like this,
it's not that easy.
Let
me say that. It's not that easy. It's not that easy because if DCFS and things like that can get involved and there's other children in the house, it's really not that easy, right? It's not as easy as we think to just be like, well, be grown and get the fuck out. I promise you, it's not that easy.
I'm not saying get the fuck out, but it's also like, if you think you're that grown, go show me that you're that grown.
No, I'm saying get the fuck out. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I'm not saying. I'm just saying you want to be grown, go do grown stuff and pay for your own food, buy your own stuff, get your own shoes, and show me how life really would treat you when you think you do this way. Go ahead and let me know.
This is the difference for me, right? The difference for me was as I got older, I became a pretty mellow kid, got more responsible.
Okay.
But
what do you think was the catalyst for that?
I don't know, but
what do you think,
I know
changed you to from being, well, I don't know what you were, like wild, like you know, or is it like something that's like, dang, like
purpose?
I gotta make my life together. You know what I mean?
Too many things. It's too many things to count.
Okay.
But what I will say is that I learned pretty early that if I wasn't living with my mama, nobody else in this world really wanted me. You know what I'm saying? Like if you think about it from the context of like my mom wants
mama
me,
do love me.
My mom takes care of me, right? But outside of my mama, like ain't nobody really
gonna check me.
Ain't like nobody really fucking with me like that, you know.
It's like, I'm gonna play my cards right.
Right, like down. Think about it though. Think about it. As a kid, we get real big and bold. Like I'm leaving, right? I think I tried that once, and I realized early I don't have nowhere else to go. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't, right? So
the grass is greener at your own house.
So for me, I can't speak for other kids. For me, I understood. Like okay, well. I guess I'm gonna go sit my ass down somewhere, right? Like I don't know how it works for other kids, but for me, I was like, I think I tried to run away. Like the difference between me and my brother stayed running away, right? I didn't. Like
I tried once. I'm cool.
I didn't. I didn't, right? Because I don't like. I'm bougie. Like
I like my bed.
I'm bougie.
I like having food.
I don't like spending the night at other people's house. Like, you know, I don't like
the lights being on. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like I know I can go home and knock, and I'll be able to get in for sure.
I got a bed. I don't really like spending the night at other people's house. I don't want to go to the homie house. Like they might have roaches. I don't want to my dad's house. Like they don't live right over there. You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
It's like a third world country at they house.
And I got a couch in mine. I got a couch, TV,
and then like at my house I got a bed and I don't have to share a room. Like you just realize, like for me, I just realized like the only thing separating me from the streets was my mother.
Okay,
right? And I wasn't about that street life.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm glad.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know where this thug in me came from because I'm really not about the street life. I'm bougie. I'm like,
that's funny.
I'm gonna go. Okay,
that is so funny.
Okay, right? So
I just think that life is a great teacher.
So
I really think that life is a great teacher. Like if you think you got it, go show me.
Go get you a spot.
Show me.
Go live. But that's right.
Like
you ain't got no money.
I mean, honestly, I'll probably be more.
That's right. You can't get no job. That's right. Even with your job, you realize that ain't enough to get you an apartment. That's right. You like you should just start learning shit.
But you know, I feel like if it was between my daughter and my son in this situation, I'd be a lot harder on my son than my daughter.
Harder how?
Like I wouldn't give her the option to leave. My son would be like, you think you got it? You want to try that? All right.
You think you got it, Bounce?
If you think you got it, you want to be grown, you want to be a man, go out there. My daughter, I wouldn't be that lady. I'm like, hell nah.
Even if she was up in here running amok, acting a damn fool.
It won't happen.
Why?
Because I make sure it won't happen. You have no doors, no privacy, no computer, no TV, and I'll pick out your clothes for the week.
Damn.
You only get 4 pairs of panties, and 2 of those you got to wear the same. One for 2 days.
Yo.
No door, no closet, no clothes, and I pick your clothes.
All I'm gonna say,
you will think twice.
Some parents got it figured out. Like I done heard a story about like my friend making her son sleep in the hallway. Like
if this bed is it gets worse every time you do something, it gets worse and worse.
Took his room. Like you don't have to. This is not yours. Like made him sleep in the hallway in front of the bathroom.
But I mean, then kids gotta understand. Like when you are in that age, this ain't your stuff. This is borrowed stuff.
Ain't none of this shit yours.
This is borrowed stuff from somebody who got it for you. So like they need to understand when you want your own, go get your own.
You have to figure out a way to make conditions extreme enough for the kids to get online. I think I ever have children, I'm gonna have like something in my house to where I can shut off power to one room or like to their room.
Just you have a light switch in your room that goes to the rest of the house. Where you guys are
like
off.
Some type of power surge to where I could just go turn the shit off. right? And then like the rest of the house got electricity. They got AC.
Because I'm going far.
So
like
I gotta house you because you mine.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna make it very uncomfortable if you don't want to fall in line. You're gonna be extremely uncomfortable, which will help you grow anyways.
It's gonna be hot in here. You don't have no lights.
You don't want to listen. You're gonna grow up really fast inside the house.
You ain't got no door. You ain't got no bed. Like there's certain shit
and the only way you get a phone, you can go buy yourself a phone, a prepaid phone, and put minutes on it, and you can talk to whoever you want outside the house.
But here's the thing: sometimes that doesn't work because some kids get used to not having nothing.
Okay.
Like imagine the event where stuff is constantly getting taken away. I done took the phone. I done took the PS whatever. I done took the Game Boy whatever. I done took the dough. I done took the shit, right? And then you got kids who are so used to not having nothing that it's like, damn, I can't take nothing because I already got your shit.
It's like, you only got one pair of clothes for the whole week. I can't go
got your shit. So
I get that.
What is we gonna do?
I don't know. That's actually a good question. I never thought about it. I thought it would actually work. I thought like by that time any reasonable person would be like, well, either I'm gonna get out or get on.
I got the nigga. I got the nigga shit. Like I got your shit already. I can't take nothing.
But that also comes down to a couple things with that because I plant these seeds now with me and my daughter, being very transparent about a lot of things and explaining why things are done. Like even when she gets in trouble, I explain every reason, all the things why it happens. I don't just say listen to me and that's it. I tell you why I'm doing this so it makes sense later when you get it. You may not get it now, but you get it later. So if we build that rapport already in the beginning when they're very young, that trust is built. And I don't go off on you when you do something crazy, but like even if it's I never told you not to do this and you do it. I don't go off and yell immediately. I just say, all right, well, this is what happens. We don't do this.
Right.
All these things will help foster that relationship later. But if you off the jump, like, listen to what I said, why? Because I said so. How was I going to build trust to tell you anything? You're just going to be like, well, why am I going to listen to you? You never told me nothing anyway. You just told me what to do. Like I just feel like you just trying to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
You have no basis on what you're talking about.
Right.
So like then kids will probably more likely.
You just saying stuff and trying to rebel and buck against the system.
Another point, you just to the kid, it sounds like you just trying to run my life. So if you're just trying to run my life, why am I going to listen? You don't explain nothing anyways. You don't tell me why we're doing nothing. You don't tell me why it's going to benefit me or not. You just say do it and that's it. And to me, I don't think that works. And that's why now I explain what's going on. I say these are the reasons why. This is why I tell you this in the morning. This is why I tell you to empower yourself. This is, I do these things intentionally for the very reason for when she's 15, we've built enough trust and rapport to be able to make sure that when I tell you something, I don't necessarily explain it. My whole life that I've always put you in a position to win. And I don't necessarily have to explain it now so much, and I will probably still will.
Right.
But I don't have to explain as much because you know my track record.
Now you know.
You can figure out the pieces now.
Now you know.
But if you just tell me for my whole life, just do what I said. Why? Do what I said. Shut up. Do what I said. Listen to me. Go here and do that. It's like, all right, well, how that ain't gonna really foster that good later on.
Yo, I didn't hit a couple of kids that I work with a cool because I said so.
Which I'm not saying I'm not saying it's not appropriate at times.
I'm a little bit. I done had some hypocritical moments in my life as an educator, right? So look, it's like a big ass sign in the room that says "Don't eat in here," right? But I had missed lunch, and look, I abide by my own rules. Let me say that. But one particular time, I had missed lunch. I'm back to back. Kids is at my table, and I'm hungry, right? So I take out like a little.
Who's she eating?
I'm eating, right? I'm eating, and it's always one of the. It's always one young man who says, "Hey, I thought we couldn't eat in here," right?
That's hilarious.
And then they immediately start going in. You said we couldn't eat in here, but you could eat in here.
But how come it's cool when you do it, but not when us do it?
Yo, this is their moment. If a kid see you slipping, right?
Oh yeah, they're gonna be like, I'm about to.
If a kid see you slipping, this is their moment.
I get it.
This is their moment.
I get it.
So he big flexing, right? Oh, you said whoa.
How you gonna say that?
How you gonna say that? Right?
Yeah.
So I look at the other part, my other coworker in the room, and I say, hey. How many people in this room graduated from high school? And me and the two in the room said,
"That's why we can do that."
I had to hit him with that. How many people in this room got their high school diploma?
Damn. I'm not gonna lie. That was good. That was smart. That was good.
And the kid was like, dang, Miss Chantel, you play too much. And I was like, when you get your high school diploma, you can eat in here too,
exactly. Bro. Oh my God.
That's what I said. He was like, bet, I'm going to eat too. Eat, bruh. When you
be a teacher, eat.
When you get your high school diploma, you can eat in this room too.
Oh my gosh. Hey, that was good. That was good. I'm not gonna lie. That was a good one.
Hey, I felt bad though because the whole room started cracking up and the kid was like,
but you know what? He knows don't try you.
It's true.
Don't try
but like you gotta balance that, right? Because that could either make him laugh, and luckily we had like a comedic result, and we had a good report. But some kids that could like piss them off.
Oh yeah.
Right, and then they could come for you after that. So I've learned that I have to be careful with stuff like that.
You have to know your audience for sure who it is.
In this instance, we had a good enough of a report. It had a comedic effect that it worked, and there was also other people in the room, and if you make a kid feel bad, like in other people,
you're not like ridiculing him. It's just like it was all just joking around, kind of, you know.
It could have went bad.
Yeah,
let me say
sure,
that.
For sure.
What I did could have went bad,
right?
But it didn't, and I was like, "Yo, I'm hungry." Like,
it's like y'all gotta understand, like.
Yes, I'm like, I've been here since 8 a.m. Right? Or then like, how come you get to go to lunch right now? Like,
no, that's actually pretty funny. That was a good comeback though. I'm not gonna lie. I wish I had comebacks like that, but I never do.
I had to. Don't come for me, bro.
My comebacks are never that good.
Yo,
they're always like, okay,
I had to. Don't
you don't
come
know
for
what
me.
he's doing.
Yeah, don't come for me.
But that's why I've always had a problem with
that's where
like,
the
talking
thug in
mess.
Me is. I told you.
Because I can talk, like I can debate, but I can't talk shit. But like, so if we talk. Oh, this is what I was actually going back to before. Total sidebar because we're back to relationships and men and women stuff. But when I was asking you before about like what happens when women fight, you know, it's like they argue and then what happens. So with men, we have a disagreement and then we get angry and we argue. Arguing doesn't solve it, then we pretty much fight and the fighting solves the problem and then it's over. But when the argument happens and there's no resolution, then it just gets cattier or pettier, and who can get more petty and petty.
I don't understand.
Some not women, just some women pettier and pettier and pettier and pettier and pettier.
Right.
And there's no ever
it's like a petty
there's no ever end. It's just like, oh, I'm gonna pee in your shampoo. All right, well, I'm gonna freaking put your toothbrush in my ass. And then, you know, it's just like it just gets crazy. It's like, yo, this is what unsanitary.
These are some interesting examples.
I'm just saying, like, you know,
and very specific, I might add.
Yeah, they're kind of crazy. I've seen this happen. I've heard this happen, but it's like also like, oh,
somebody peeing your shampoo lately?
No, never me. I'm just saying I heard someone say they're gonna pee.
I was about to say I feel like that's a form of assault.
I was like, why don't you just tell the person the problem?
Shout out. If somebody pees in your shampoo, I'm pretty sure that I could argue like assault. A tort assault, or maybe not an assault, maybe in a tort battery. I could probably argue
because it's like unsanitary and dangerous.
I mean,
right?
if the pee got in your eye and it burned, that's definitely a tort battery.
I mean, that's just so like in my head, I'm just thinking like when I see women argue or they have a problem and then they don't resolve the problem, and then it just goes from the problem was here and then it goes to like kind of talking shit, and then now they don't even talk shit to each other. They're talking shit to the person with other people.
Yeah,
and they both do that, and then it just never gets resolved. And then so I'm like, so as a men, and we know this, we know this happens, and it's like, why the hell am I gonna really open? And when I know that I can't. Well, I mean, I know what to do.
But here's the thing:
disagree, anger, fight, over.
How does the fighting solve the problem? Because if we are on two different sides of an issue, that's just the way it is. So why are we fighting?
Because that's how men solve a problem. When we don't agree and we don't like it. No, if we don't listen, if we don't.
I mean, like if we just gonna be on two different sides of the issue, then we don't need to fight, because even after we fight, we still gonna be on two different sides of the issue.
Yeah, but it clears the air. It clears the air. That's really.
Men are weird.
It's not weird. It's just there's dynamics of it.
It's dynamics.
And dynamics it's very systematic. Disagreement.
We gotta wrap this
Anger. Fight. Finish.
Okay. I mean, if you say
and
so,
then it's like
it still doesn't make sense.
Disagreement. Anger. Argument. Petty. Argument. More petty. More petty. More petty. More petty. And then
so
it doesn't stop.
Let me even say this.
But when does it
stop?
That
what you're describing is a small subsect of, dare I say, silly women.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's all women.
A small percentage. I'm just
saying there's a lot of petty women, and so when does it stop?
But like when does it stop? I feel like okay.
I'm not saying majority women. I'm not saying majority women.
I know it's a small subsect of silly women, but I'm thinking that what you just described for men is like a larger percentage of men that handle their issues that way than there are of women who handle their issues with the petty.
But I think the men see it more of it's probably they think of it as a larger percentage of women acting like that. That's just what because you see that on TV. You see it on TV.
So
you see it on media.
On TV,
you see it when they argue, and then it's like, well, why don't we just solve the problem and be done? It's like, well, I want to feel.
So the women on TV is not a good representation of all women or all black women. Just like the men on TV who you know what I'm saying, marry white girls isn't an accurate depiction of all of the men. You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of women that believe that to be true.
That's because they stupid. No, I mean, you're not stupid, y'all. You silly.
Misinformed. But when you try to tell somebody that, you know what they say?
They silly.
They get more mad at you.
They silly.
They get more mad at you when you say that. And when you show them the statistics, you know what they say? They still bring up the same argument.
And
like
then can you say, "Get your silly ass away from me"? Like some people,
argue. No, because you know if you say that, you know you say it's DEFCON 5.
Some people you just can't. That don't even make sense. Some people you just can't argue it.
That's true.
It depends. It's a vibe. Sometimes I'll tell somebody in a minute, and sometimes I'll just be like, I don't care.
I know, but it's just, I did think it's funny. But, you know, this was really good. Thank you, Chantel.
This was a good conversation.
I know, it was a lot of fun. We went over time a little bit, but it was cool. I always forget to freaking say subscribe in the beginning. I always do it at the end.
Subscribe.
So, can you... Y'all subscribe and comment. Help the algorithm, damn it.
Comment.
Help the damn algorithm,
Say something.
Like, text in more than 5 comments. I'm telling you right now. You watch it to this part, text in at least 5 words or more.
Every time we say something good, rewrite it in the comments.
Thank you. And put the time code. Shoot. Like, help me out.
Come on, y'all. Help us out.
I do always forget to say in the beginning. I mean to say in the beginning, but I always forget. So, let's make it a next point next time.
Help us out.
Yes, please do. So, I'm glad you guys watch the podcast.
All right, make a face at the camera so we can get this thumbnail real quick.
Well, I guess I'm gonna keep all this in, so I'll just let you know. This is what really happens in the podcast, guys. So, all right, and I'm gonna do like my corny stuff, like, or I'm gonna do like this. What did I do last time? What'd you say? I was corny.
Your faces be weird. Your faces be weird.
I'll be like, because I'm thinking about what would you want to see? I don't know.
I just gave you a cool 3 faces, 4 faces to
we gotta do it at the same time though, just because it make it more fun.
Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
We're both.
I know. Okay.
We're both dorks.
But thank you so much. Appreciate it. Until guys, next time, this episode 19. So go ahead and subscribe, channel, or comment, and like the video, all that good stuff.
Show your love.
And see us on the next podcast. We'll be back next week. All right. Until next time. Love y'all. Peace, love, and hair grease. And go ahead and cuss in the way I got
How you feeling? How you living? Yeah. How you feeling? How you chilling? Well, alright. From the floor to the ceiling, everyone in the building, if you feeling alright. Well, alright. How you loving? How you eating? Yeah. How you moving? How you breathing? Well, alright. From the floor to the ceiling, everyone in the building, if you feeling alright.